natural gas, one of nature's wonder resources bequeathed to generations, formed over hundreds of millions of years, a true gift of nature. Not all countries are fortunate enough to boast having their own natural gas resources, a fuel that is turning out to be the primary fuel for power turbines, churning out electricity for use by billions of people across the world. It is a primary source of energy, and adequate and reliable supplies of energy are synonymous with economic development.
Energy is the lifeblood of any economy.
It's at the heart of all development. When you look around the world, you see that the countries that are developed are the ones that consume the highest amounts of energy.
Access to energy is essential for the provision of clean water, sanitation, healthcare, and for the provision of reliable and efficient lighting, heating, transport, and telecommunications. As the world's leading producer of natural gas, Qatar boasts a standard of living that has been enabled primarily by a thriving energy sector that is based on large reserves of this wonder resource. The disparity between energy consumption per capita there and developing countries is immense.
You can correlate the level of advancement of an economy with the amount of energy they use.
When you look at a satellite image of the planet Earth and you see portions of it that are lit up and portions of it that are really dark, Africa has very limited lit up areas. It's energy poverty. The areas that are most lit up are also the most developed.
If you look at those numbers in the OECD countries in North and South America, they're probably using between 20 to 40,000 kilowatt hours per person per year, and we're using less than 1,000.
They've developed those resources in the ground in pace with the growth of their economies and their country demographic.
Poorer countries tend to have low consumption of energy, but many are also lucky enough to have natural gas, a vital resource that must by all means be harnessed. And Ghana is one of them. Ghana's first experience with the use of natural gas for its power plants was through a pipeline that ran beneath the sea, through Benin and Togo, ending in the western region of Ghana. It was called the West African Gas Pipeline.
It was a constant supply of gas, it was affordable, and from a sort of an energy point of view, it was also cleaner burning.
The country yearned for its own oil and gas resources and intensified the search to find oil and gas off the coast of Ghana, an area that had shown great potential following the efforts of the National Oil Company established for this purpose in the mid-80s. In April 2007, through its partnership with US company Cosmos Energy, Ghana struck oil and a sense of euphoria and success filled the air.
They called it Jubilee, and it coincided with the 50th anniversary of Ghana's independence.
Ghana had at long last found oil in commercial quantities, and with it came natural gas, and the country went to work right away with the building of a floating production, storage and offloading vessel. With the discovery of natural gas, Ghana's power plants could increasingly do away with expensive and environmentally unfriendly crude oil and a dependence on the West Africa gas pipeline. It was the beginning of the creation of an enclave of thermal power plants both in the western region and the Greater Accra region, where much of Ghana's demand for electricity is found. Today, most of Ghana's electricity comes from the thermal plants running on natural gas.
And it's our aspiration to grow that supply over the coming years in cooperation with the government of Ghana. It also comes with a significant amount of liquids that the government of Ghana is able to produce from the gas and sell as things like propane, etc., which is also power. And finally, and most importantly, this is associated gas, which means for every molecule of gas that's allowed to be taken, it comes with oil. And that oil revenue is significantly valuable to the country of Ghana and will be for years to come.
In 2016, the Italian oil major Eni made a major investment in oil and gas exploration in Ghana. This is the biggest investment ever made into the country by a foreign investor in the region of $6 billion. Eni operates the Sinkofa field and started producing gas in 2018.
It's a natural gas reservoir, and it can be better handled than other production of gas that is associated to the production of oil. The Sinkofa field holds 40 BCM of gas that translate into a production that should last for 20 years. So it's a stable supply for the country.
Between the Jubilee, 10 and Sinkofa fields, the country finally has enough locally produced gas to meet its needs. There has been an expansion in gas pipeline infrastructure to enable the evacuation of natural gas from offshore to onshore plants, as well as enabling a reverse flow of gas from the western region to the Greater Accra region.
Presently, the Sinkofa field is producing more than 50% of the gas used for the production of electricity. Sinkofa can actually increase the production with very easy upgrade from 210, that is the present capacity, to 260.
It is critical that Ghana continues to harness its own domestic gas resources, which are comparatively cheaper and in abundant supply.
For the facilities that we have today, we produce about 600 million scf of gas a day. Out of this, the Jubilee field and the partners, we produce about 400 million scf a day. And the demand, it's around 338, 340 today. So it tells you that there's excess gas that we have.
If you add the West African gas pipeline, you go from anywhere from 50 to 100. So the short term, certainly we have enough gas.
The recent addition of a liquefied natural gas regasification plant and plans to import LNG can undercut the growth of local production.
There is still a lot of local resources that can be fully exploited that are not going to be if the LNG is here.
Additional gas, wherever it comes from, means that the folks that produce oil, remember we're talking about associated gas, will have to re-inject that gas back into their basins. That is not a good thing for the basins. Geologically, it's not a good thing for the country from a revenue point of view because you're producing less oil. So there's a hit on two sides if we have more gas than we need.
We will continue to have excess until such time that industries evolve. And then if you have industries, fertilizer plants, all of that, the delta that's left cannot support all of that. And at that point, if you say we bring in the LNG, it makes sense.
Locally produced gas is comparatively cheaper than imported gas.
How can something compete with free? The foundation volume that we have coming from the Jubilee field all these years, there's no charge for that.
Anybody can go and check the price of LNG at the beginning of this year when the growth was coming back, economy was coming back. And actually LNG price worldwide was even 5 times higher of the Sinkofa gas.
LNG typically is more expensive.
Ghana is lucky to not only have the reserves, but to also have the partners with the ability to produce and deliver natural gas for the country's use and for export. Even more significant is the value chain that could be developed, providing additional opportunities for the country.
If we want to do more domestically, it means that we must give the right signals to our investors to say, look, we favor your development of gas, and here are the incentives to develop it.
Ghana has the opportunity, because of its population and its growth, to fully satisfy its domestic growth through its domestic energy sector development, and maybe the potential to become an exporter as well.
Almost half of the liquefied petroleum gas on the market today comes from domestic sources. The harnessing and use of abundant domestic natural gas reserves can bring about significant economic transformation and growth.
If you take agriculture and consider the impact of natural gas on it, if you take industry and you see what natural gas can do, then you realize that development is within reach.
You're building service economy. So in the oil and gas space, now I need fabrication plants, I need logistics companies, I need chemical manufacturing companies in country.
The supply chain for these keeps growing as long as you stay with the local resources.
By 2050, it's predicted that Africa will make up almost a third of the world's population, and that growth can be fueled through energy, and in particular, gas.
Yes, we've done some things. We're fortunate, but we could certainly do more.
What's needed is investment and proper planning and governance and cooperation to allow the supply of energy in the country, domestic energy, to match the growth of the country in a very timely fashion.
Natural resources can be a blessing. It all depends on how we use it. We must make every effort to evacuate the natural gas that we have offshore. That is what will bring us development.